All right, RCW faithful, welcome back to the deep dive. You've just witnessed history. Wrestle War,
Oh man, history is right.
the combination of RCW's electrifying first year, the first stadium show, the grand finale building on, well, everything, right? Hellbound, End of the Line, Royal Battle, Doomsday, all that chaos, all that intensity.
It really has felt like a journey, hasn't it? Each show just kept building and building, pushing boundaries, bringing in these incredible talents and, creating rivalries that felt genuinely personal by the time we got here.
Yeah.
Wrestle War wasn't just like another show. It really felt like the point where everything either just broke apart or solidified for whatever's coming next.
And that's exactly our mission today.
Yeah.
This isn't a preview, obviously. It's a reaction. We're diving deep into what just happened. We're going to break down the outcomes, celebrate the winners, maybe dissect the losses a bit, and we think most importantly, pull apart those immediate post-match reactions, those interviews,
Yeah.
trying to figure out where RCW is heading right now.
Yeah, like processing it together, like
Right.
fresh off the adrenaline, the shockwaves, all of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of this as us trying to get into your heads. You are watching, you are predicting, buzzing with every near fall, every finisher.
Which matches delivered everything you hoped for, maybe even more. What results just completely blindsided you.
Yeah. What moments are going to stick with you?
Let's unpack this monumental night.
Where do we even start?
Okay, got to start at the beginning with a match just born out of pure, unadulterated hatred. Brittany Ali versus Sarah Kay. That brutal ambulance match.
Oh, yeah. This one felt like it needed a violent end, didn't it? This goes all the way back to Hellbound. That horrific Hell in a Cell match. Remember Brittany hitting the unprettier on top of the cell?
Yeah.
Sarah crashing through. That wasn't just losing the women's world title.
No.
That put her out for months. Broken ribs, punctured lung. Just awful.
It was tough to watch, really tough. So when Sarah Kay made that incredible return at Royal Battle,
Yeah?
her focus wasn't titles, it wasn't accolades, it was just singular. Pure revenge on Brittany Ali. Absolutely. Attacked her every chance she got. Even cost Brittany a title shot at Doomsday, didn't she? Just to inflict damage, send that message.
Yeah.
So this ambulance match stipulation, where the only way to win is like physically putting your opponent in the ambulance and closing both doors, it felt perfect. Terrifying, but perfect for this level of hate.
It really did. It took the art out of it, Made it purely about punishment. Can you hurt them enough to just incapacitate them?
And you felt that heat right from the bell, just genuine animosity radiating off the screen, no feeling out process.
None.
Brittany went right to work, locked in that camel clutch, her signature hold, trying to damage those ribs early.
And the weapons came out fast, too.
Sure.
Chairs. Like, immediately.
Yeah.
Brittany just drove one down onto Sarah. Literally dented the steel.
Sarah got her hands on one too, briefly, but Brittany was just relentless. Tossed her away before she could really use it.
Sarah did try to end it fast, though. Hit the SKO finisher.
Yeah. And Brittany kicking out, incredible. But it showed Sarah's desperation, right? Just wanting that revenge finished quickly.
Definitely. And that moment where Sarah tried to long dart Brittany into the ambulance door, but Brittany just held it open. Pure survival instinct.
And that's where you saw how crucial that little detail was. The doors only open from the outside.
Right.
Once you're in and they shut, you're done. It added this whole layer of dread, every time they got near the ambulance.
Totally. Brittany fought back hard, too. Tossed Sarah back in the ring, then immediately threw her back out onto the floor.
Yeah.
Just pure punishment on the concrete.
More chair shots. That sickening thud. Brittany locked in the camel clutch again multiple times, even got Sarah to tap out.
Which meant nothing in this match.
Exactly, just acknowledging the pain. Didn't win her anything, just showed Brittany she was breaking her down.
And then came that moment, the one that felt like it mirrored their whole history.
Oh, yeah?
Brittany Ali climbs on top of the ambulance, high up, and launches herself.
Yeah.
A body splash onto Sarah below.
And they made it clear, didn't they? She targeted those already injured ribs from Hellbound.
It was so calculated, vicious, a callback, but somehow even more extreme.
We saw a little surge from Sarah after that. A flicker of fight, but you just knew with those ribs. It wasn't going to last long.
Nope. And sure enough, Brittany followed up, got Sarah's battered body into the ambulance, closed both doors.
Brittany Ali wins. A brutal, definitive victory. And the immediate fallout. Chilling.
Sarah Kay immediately taken to the hospital. Again, history repeating, maybe even worse this time.
A really disturbing end. And it leaves Sarah's status Well, who knows? But we didn't have long to dwell on that because Brittany Ali gave an interview backstage.
And what an interview.
Chillingly clear. She basically said, "When I said I'm the most dangerous woman in RCW, I meant that. I am an 18-year veteran. I'm still hungry. I will do anything to get back the Women's World Championship."
And the warning.
Yeah. So all the women in the locker room, I hope you took note of what I did to Sarah and be afraid of Ali.
Wow. She didn't just win. She sent a message written in violence, doubling down on brutality, setting her sights right back on the Women's World title.
So how does this position her now, after demonstrating that kind of extreme, calculated willingness to injure?
It catapults her right back into the title picture, doesn't it? Sends a terrifying warning straight to Lily Sunshine, Michelle Diaz, Marcella, Rebecca Welch. Hell, every woman on the roster.
Exactly. That willingness to target the same injury, that's a terrifying ruthlessness. That's a level of villainy that maybe even Lily Sunshine's positivity might struggle against.
Yeah, it adds this whole psychological danger to a potential clash between the joyful champ and the vicious veteran.
Totally. And for Sarah Kay, hospitalized again, especially after that specific targeting, her future feels really uncertain. This felt like an end, but Brittany's comments feels like just the beginning of a dark new era she wants to start.
A definitive, brutal chapter closed, but one that opens a very dangerous new one for the Women's World title.
Okay.
Leaving that carnage behind, the vibe shifted completely for the next one. Pure skill. Scorpion versus Rey Munoz. Yeah, this was kind of the dream match for the purists, wasn't it? Two top, super respected guys just wanting to prove who was better on the biggest stage. You got Scorpion, the inaugural world champ, cornerstone of year one, proven main eventer, and Rey Munoz, who earned massive respect, pushing King to the absolute limit in that casket match. This was all about skill, striking, who's really at the top.
And you felt that technical vibe right away. Immediate lockup, feeling each other out, crisp exchange, then boom, strikes. Scorpion's hard knees, Munoz's quick kicks and speed.
Scorpion's strong style was obvious, trying to impose his will, but Munoz answered right back with that breathtaking athleticism.
Spin heel kick, leg drop to the arm, head scissor, scoop slam. Just so dynamic, contrasted beautifully with Scorpion's intensity.
And Scorpion showed his smarts, too. Dodging that golden cutter attempt showed he'd done his homework on El Numero Uno.
Scorpion fired back, though. Sharp knee strike, elbow to the back of the head, trying to slow Munoz down. But Munoz had that incredible sequence.
The Eclipse, top rope splash, right into setting up a second stunner attempt. And that was huge. Scorpion kicking out of that combo at the very, very last second.
Yeah, highlighted how close Munoz came, how devastating that sequence is, but also, wow, Scorpion's resilience, just refusing to quit.
Munoz kept the pressure on, though. That high-risk over-the-top rope sentence,
Yeah.
showing the daredevil side. The description even said, at that point, it really felt like the match was firmly in Munoz's hands.
He'd weathered the storm, seized the momentum, and he capitalized right after that sequence. Another stunner. Rey Munoz gets the win.
A massive, clean win for El Numero Uno over one of RCW's foundational guys. Huge.
And the fallout started immediately backstage. Rey Munoz's interview. He said it in Spanish, but the translation was clear. Scorpion is one of the best wrestlers here, and I defeated him. This was just the first step to becoming RCW World Champion.
Whoa, straight-up declaration. Going for the big one.
Think about it. Scorpion, the first world champ, the benchmark. Beating him clean on this stage. That's not just a win, that's an undeniable declaration. Munoz didn't just win a match. He leapfrogged contenders tonight.
He absolutely put himself square in the world title picture. Especially with King back on top now.
Right. But the post-match didn't end there. Scorpion approaches Munoz after that hard fight, extends the handshake, respect.
Yeah, good to see.
But then adds the warning, "You won tonight, but our paths will cross again."
Ooh, interesting. Respect, but it's not over.
Exactly. Fascinating combo. Mutual admiration, but implies this isn't one and done. Could this be match one in a classic series? Scorpion trying to reclaim his spot, Munoz trying to solidify his.
And how does Munoz fit into that crowded world title picture now? King's back, Butcher's lurking.
And don't forget LJ Hernandez. Mentioned later he wanted a match with Munoz too, maybe for the U.S. title down the line. Munoz is suddenly central to a bunch of potential storylines.
So Munoz is a major player now. Eyes on the world title, but maybe there are big matches waiting too. Big fallout from that win and that handshake. Okay, moving on. A very different kind of match next. Less about titles, more about something darker. Babe versus Willow.
Yeah, this was deeply personal, psychological, felt really different from everything else. Debbie Babe, visibly struggling with self-doubt after those past losses, especially that brutal one to Brittany at Doomsday. And Willow, Just this mysterious, sinister figure targeting that vulnerability, preying on that inner turmoil.
And Willow's goal wasn't just winning, it was way more insidious. She flat out said she wanted Baby Babe's soul, wanted to lead her into darkness, predicted the fans would abandon Baby after another loss, leaving her vulnerable.
Chilling, right. Almost supernatural stakes.
In the match, Baby actually came out strong. Impressive strengths, power slams, body splashes, showing she still had fight.
But Willow, like the description said, unpredictable. Didn't use brute force. Used the ref, unorthodox offense. Rolling Sennin, knee strikes, that sudden sit-out spine buster. Just unsettling.
Baby hit her finisher, the baby bomb. Won matches with that. But Willow kicked out.
And you could see it, right? The disbelief, the doubt creeping back into Daybaby's eyes.
Yeah, Willow fought out of a second attempt, then locked in the deadlock.
Daybaby showed heart, broke out, hit a clothesline, but then the finish was weird. Willow got the pin after Daybaby's clothesline.
Strange. Willow wins.
But the post-match? That was arguably more significant.
Definitely more telling. Daybaby Babe, distraught, ignores the interviewer, just walks away into this dark hallway, lost in her own head.
And who's waiting there? In the shadows.
Willow!
And they just walked off
Yeah,
together.
that visual, them leaving together, it feels huge, right?
Okay.
Directly tied to Willow's goal. Did she succeed? Did she take Daybaby's soul?
It certainly implies Baby, feeling abandoned maybe, validating Willow's prediction, is now embracing that darkness, or at least starting down that path, with Willow
Elliot,
as her guide.
Where does this storyline even go? It feels less like a feud ending and more like a new, dark character arc starting for Daybaby Babe.
Yeah, it's a very different narrative thread for RCW. And that visual confirms it wasn't just a match. It's a new direction. Compelling, but unsettling.
Definitely one to watch closely in year 2. All right, next up, a classic setup entitled Rookie versus Respected Veteran, Anthony Hogan versus Warlord. This one was all about Hogan's arrival and his immediate arrogance, wasn't it? Internet influencer, zero real experience, but friends with an EVP, highest paid guy.
And that disrespect at the press conference. Slapping a legend like Warlord set the tone immediately. This match felt necessary. Restore some order, some respect.
Warlord, 20-plus years, championships everywhere. He took that personally. It wasn't about wins or losses for him. It was about teaching Hogan a painful old-school lesson.
In the match, they locked up. Warlord went right for a choke slam, but Hogan actually reversed it. Showed he wasn't totally green. First ever singles match, too, apparently.
Yeah, surprising. Warlord used his veteran instincts, ground and pound, trying to wear him down. But Hogan, he showed some effort, some training. Hit a lariat, DDT, knee to the gut, even a kip-up. Surprising athletic ability. The description noted he seemed to have Warlord's number at points, likely studied tape, trained with Deshaun, maybe Hudson. He wasn't just showing up arrogant. He'd put in some work. That was interesting.
But Warlord's comeback. Aggressive, decisive, big clothesline, then the trifecta of backbreakers. You could see it took a toll on Hogan.
Warlord even called for the fans' energy before the finish.
And delivered.
Yeah.
Ragnarok Crush. Warlord wins. The veteran teaches the rookie that lesson.
We caught Warlord backstage after. He admitted, the match wasn't easy, Hogan has talent, but he reaffirmed the mission. He needed some respect beating into him, and that's exactly what I did.
And the message to Hogan.
So Hogan, when you have a pain in your back, remember the man who did that to you. If you can handle that pain and still want to get back in the ring, you'll earn a bit of my respect.
So Warlord shut him up like the fans wanted, but that last part leaves the door open, right?
Exactly. Suggests there could be a path forward for Hogan, but it requires handling the loss, the pain, and coming back willing to earn respect through wrestling, not connections. It's a challenge from the veteran.
This loss, plus Deshaun's later, a big blow to the A-listers tonight.
Which leads us perfectly to the next match. LJ Hernandez defending the United States Championship against Deshaun Williams.
Such a long-running rivalry here. Goes way back. Deshaun ridiculing LJ's past. That cage match Deshaun won.
Yeah, while Deshaun chased world titles and failed, LJ became the absolute fan favorite, right? The people's champion, winning the U.S. title. Inspiring journey.
And their paths crossed again when Deshaun joined Hogan's A-listers. That group built on disrespect, which LJ and Sebastian Wolf took offense to.
Hogan got Deshaun the shot via his connection, but then LJ's team beat the A-listers in that Doomsday Riot match. Just fueled Deshaun's determination even more.
It was a real clash of styles, philosophies. LJ, the dynamic Lucha Street fighter, fan favorite. Deshaun, the athletic powerhouse, all the tools, but aligned with arrogance now.
Deshaun used his power early, looked dominant, but LJ, quickness, agility, hit that beautiful springboard dropkick, constantly saw that contrast.
Big backdrop by Deshaun. LJ showed smarts too, escaping outside using the champion's advantage.
And they traded taunts, showed how personal it still was.
Then Deshaun hit those 3 German suplexes. Looked like it could be over.
But LJ kicked out. Incredible heart. Deshaun followed with a capture suplex. LJ looked like he was in real trouble.
But LJ's quickness, that ability to reverse, quick roll-up attempt, then a crucial draw kick. And when Deshaun went for the cash out
LJ reversed it last second.
and capitalized, hit the murder suplex, middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. LJ Hernandez retains the United States Championship.
Huge moment. So emotional for LJ, for the fans. Continues his reign as the People's Champion. Backstage was electric, celebration.
And his interview was powerful.
Really moving. Talked about his past, getting out of jail 7 years ago, the opportunity wrestling gave him, learning from his uncle, hoping his uncle in heaven and the fans were proud, calling himself your United States Champion.
That connection.
Yeah.
That's why he's the People's Champ. But the A-listers. Fallout continued. Deshaun in the physician's room, distraught. Hogan beside him.
And then, boom, unexpected development. Samuel Parker walks in.
Parker, we haven't seen him since he lost to LJ at Fright Night.
Right. Tells the cameras to leave, says they need to talk. Parker calls himself the undisputed future. Egotistical. Aligns perfectly with the A-listers vibe.
This is huge. A-listers take 2 big losses, their standing hit hard. Now Parker, who also lost to LJ, seeks them out.
What's forming here? An alliance built on ego, shared defeats, wanting to take down LJ, a potential new faction.
What does this mean for LJ? The U.S. champ now has potentially multiple guys, maybe a whole group, targeting him.
Exactly, and adding another layer of immediate danger, Mike Hudson. His match was next, and he also declared his intentions right after.
The U.S. title picture just got incredibly complicated and dangerous for LJ.
Yes, speaking of Hudson, his match, MMA steel cage against Sebastian Wolf, built on the deepest personal betrayal.
This wasn't just a match, was it? It was a fight. Settling a score from that broken friendship, Hudson and Wolf, longtime friends, training partners, closer than anyone.
But Wolf starts mentoring LJ, doesn't get Hudson the U.S. title shot Hudson felt he deserved. Jealousy, resentment boils over. Hudson betrays them both, joins the A-listers at Doomsday.
So this match, MMA rules, steel cage, designed for brutality. No pins, just submission, tap out, or knockout. Stripped down to the fight, the violence, the emotion, all trapped in steel.
And Hudson's MMA background gave him a clear edge here, right? Compared to Wolf's British strong style, technical grappling.
Grappling started immediately. Hudson hit an early Samoan drop, asserted power.
And the narrative kept stressing the why Hudson's jealousy of the LJ Wolf bond, his bitterness, feeling Wolf didn't earn his spot. Hudson controlled a lot early, systematically dismantled Wolf. Clotheslines, kicks to the gut, head, that brutal guillotine over the rope, kicks to the ribs. Wolf was struggling.
Wolf showed fight, though. Came back, traded blows, hit a regal plex, tried the hunting kick.
But Hudson dodged it, anticipated it, then hit a second Samoan drop, just reinforcing his dominance.
And the finish, absolutely brutal. Fit the match perfectly. Huge clothesline. Just knocked Wolf out cold.
Referee stopped it immediately. Knockout. Mike Hudson wins.
A brutal display. And the win felt definitive, didn't it, regarding that feud, at least for now.
Yeah, totally. And his backstage interview immediately removed any doubt about his next move.
Stated flatly, I'm done with Sebastian and on to my next goal, that United States Championship. No hesitation.
And then the direct warning to LJ. LJ, go look at your mentor and learn from his mistake. And that mistake was being on my bad side. I'm going to take that title by any means necessary.
Wow. Creates an incredibly clear, intensely personal challenger for LJ Hudson, the MMA specialist who just brutalized his former best friend, coming for the title held by the guy Wolf mentored over him.
And by any means necessary, that's menacing. A huge, dangerous threat for the People's Champion, especially right after we see Parker potentially aligning with the A-listers, who also have history with LJ.
LJ is facing a multi-front war now. 2 major threats emerging right after his defense. The U.S. title scene is suddenly white-hot. Okay, next. A match stacked with talent and history. Women's Heritage Championship Fatal 4-Way Elimination. Linda Bishop defending against Marcella, Rebecca Welch, and Michelle Diaz.
This felt like a clash of eras and ambitions, right? All stemming from that backstage chaos at Doomsday.
You had Linda, the new champ. Marcella, former longest reigning champ, back for her title. Rebecca Welch, 2-time world champ, proving she's still the benchmark. And Michelle Diaz, the game changer, legend from elsewhere, here to conquer RCW.
Plus the elimination rules, adding layers of strategy, alliances, potential betrayals. It was loaded.
Fierce determination from all four. Bell rings, immediate fighting. Marcella thrives in chaos, right? Goes straight for a garbage can.
Rebecca, the veteran, grabs a kendo stick, targets the leg's smart elimination strategy. Michelle Diaz applies the Anaconda Vice on Marcella early, showing the technical skill, but Marcella escapes. Diversity of styles, willingness to use weapons right away.
There was that big spot outside, Rebecca Irish whipping Linda into the barricade, then a suplex slam on the floor. Ouch.
Michelle hit her last call finisher, won titles with that elsewhere, but Rebecca kicked out. Michelle looked shocked, showed Rebecca's toughness.
Michelle used a chair on Linda. Rebecca tried bad luck. Linda countered. Then Marcella hit her dream over on Michelle, and Michelle kicked out. Marcella couldn't believe it either.
Just sequence after sequence of women hitting their best shots, opponents refusing to stay down, high-level stuff. Marcella then used that trash can, smashed it right into Rebecca's face, sent her reeling.
Then the elimination started changing everything. First, Marcella hits the double knee strike off the top rope onto Linda Bishop.
The same move that beat Linda for the title before? Deliberate callback.
Marcella eliminates Linda, guaranteeing a new champion.
Down to Marcella, Rebecca, Michelle. Second elimination. Rebecca Welch, veteran smarts, locks in bad luck on Marcella. If Marcella taps, Rebecca eliminates Marcella.
Leaving the two game changers, Rebecca Welch versus Michelle Diaz. Final two.
Back and forth, intensity rising. Michelle used the chair again, sharp elbows. Rebecca tried the Anaconda Vice, then bad luck again. Michelle countered both, showed her adaptability.
Finally, Michelle grabbed that garbage can Marcella brought in, smashed it face first into Rebecca.
And capitalized. Pins Rebecca Welch. Michelle Diaz is the new Women's Heritage Champion.
Lives up to the hype immediately, conquers the division in her first big RCW opportunity, celebrated with the title high.
And the backstage reactions from the others immediately set up future directions. Marcella acknowledged the loss, but then the Heritage Championship is old news. Now it's time for me to take aim. The Women's World Championship.
Whoa. Huge. Marcella pivots straight to the world title picture, adding another major contender there, where Lily just retained and Brittany is lurking.
Linda Bishop, heartbreak, disappointment, walking out empty-handed. That emotion sets up her next chapter, dealing with losing the title so fast.
And Rebecca Welch showed respect for Michelle, called it a war, said Michelle earned it. But then the warning.
Yeah, that respect comes with a cost. I'll see you again in that ring soon, champ. Sets up a clear future rematch for the Heritage title.
And Michelle, later at the press conference, doubled down, said she watched all the women's matches, took notes on Lily Sunshine, but her priority is the Heritage title, wants others chasing her.
So this match completely reshaped the women's division. New Heritage champ, Marcella gunning for world title, Rebecca promising a rematch, Linda dealing with heartbreak. Lots of new paths created.
The women's divisions are absolutely buzzing now. Okay, let's talk about the Women's World Championship match itself. Lily Sunshine defending against Black Rose.
Total contrast here, right? Lily, the rising star, infectious positivity, underdog story, surprise champ, versus Black Rose, the dominant powerhouse game changer, signed with one goal, the title. Dominated the Rumble for the shot, used mind games trying to break Lily.
You saw that contrast in the entrances. Black Rose, intense, menacing. Lily, joyful energy, smiling despite the stakes. Black Rose used her power right away, dominating early with slams, tried to overwhelm her.
But Lily's the Sunshine, right? Used her speed, agility, unpredictability. Flurry of attacks, early pin attempt, got a 1 count. Kept the pace fast, kept Black Rose off balance, hit a code breaker outside, even seemed to have the upper hand for a bit.
And that joyous laughter during the match, noted in the description, having fun, finding joy even under pressure.
But Black Rose came back hard. Running powerbomb noted as taking out top women before. But Lily kicked out.
Huge kick out.
Clubbing blow, running power slam. Black Rose regaining control with strength. Went for the Black Garden finisher. Lily broke out. Incredible will.
Lily set up. Lily playtime. Black Rose countered. Veteran instincts. Black Rose hits the Black Garden again. And Lily Sunshine kicks out again.
That was the absolute shocker. The description noted Black Rose's disbelief. No one has kicked out of that Black Garden before in RCW, showed Lily's sheer resilience, heart, proves she's no fluke.
Black Rose was furious after that second kick out, enraged. Pummeling Lily went to the top rope, looking to end it with maximum damage.
But Lily, pure instinct, rolled out of the way. Black Rose missed, gave Lily the opening.
Lily hit a running face slam, disrupting Black Rose, seized the opportunity.
She hit it. The Lily playtime finisher. Lily covers Black Rose. 1, 2, 3. Lily Sunshine retains the Women's World Championship.
Incredible.
Yeah.
The ultimate triumph of heart and determination over dominance and intimidation. Lily, the underdog, the symbol of positivity, overcame the inevitable force. Proved her win wasn't a fluke. She earned it, kept it.
So what now for Black Rose? Built as unstoppable, won gold the title, and she failed. That aura's broken. Where does she go? Does she regroup, or does this loss change her? Big question mark.
Yeah, huge. And for Lily, she survived a war. At the press conference, she mentioned feeling the pressure, watching the other matches, and specifically said she's keeping a close eye on Brittany Ali.
Right, said, I beat her for this championship, but I know she's aiming to take this title back from me. Directly links back to the ambulance match fallout, confirms Brittany, with her renewed brutality, is the most immediate, pressing challenger.
So the next chapter looks like the joyful, resilient champ versus the dangerous, brutal former champ will do anything. Fantastic dynamic brewing. All right. Finally, the main event. Men's World Championship triple threat. Brody Wade defending against King and Eddie Butcher.
Man, loaded with history, animosity, 3 legit claims. King, longest reigning champ, Rumble winner, wanting his title back from the guy he couldn't beat, Butcher, and the guy holding it, Wade, who he seemed to view as an opportunist.
Eddie Butcher beat King twice, wanting his title back from Brody, while knowing King's still the biggest threat. And Brody Wade, the chaotic anarchist, the current champ, playing mind games, trying to get King and Eddie focused on each other.
Bell rings, immediate confrontation, no temporary alliances. Description was clear. All 3 of these men disdain each other. Brody went after King, Butcher after Brody, every man for himself.
Just back and forth chaos, exactly what you'd expect. One guy takes down another, the third is instantly there. Butcher takes down Brody, King clotheslines Eddie, Eddie takes down King, Brody, neck breakers Eddie. No time to breathe.
King grabbed the kendo stick, used it on Brody, ruthless. Big power slams from all 3, King on Brody, Eddie on King, showcasing the power. King hit the King's lariat on Eddie, then on Brody, looking to finish the champ.
And this was the absolute game-changer moment. Brody Wade's resilience. King hits the first King's lariat on Brody. Brody kicks out. Noted as says a lot about Brody.
But then King hits a second King's lariat on Brody Wade, and Brody kicks out again.
Unbelievable. The description to kick out of 2 of them has never been done before. Underline King's finisher power, but even more, Brody's insane resilience, willing to absorb anything to keep the title.
Brady fought back. German suplex, clothesline, tried to pin, but Eddie Butcher, down but not out, broke it up. Prevented Brody from stealing it after surviving King's onslaught.
The match continued. Chaotic war of attrition.
Yeah.
And the finish. King, maybe frustrated, maybe just needing more, hits a third King's lariat on Brody Wade.
King pins Brody Wade. 1, 2, 3. King is the new men's world champion.
King reclaims his throne, back on top, solidifies his legacy, pinned the current champ, Brody Wade. Significant, even if it took 3 finishers.
But incredibly notable, he did not pin Eddie Butcher, the man he seemed focused on beating, the man he lost to twice. That part's unresolved tonight.
And the post-match reactions. So telling. Brody Wade. Trainers try to help. He shoves them away violently, attacks a medical physician, storms off.
The anarchist is alive and well, maybe even amplified by defeat. He took 3 lariats before being pinned. That survival, plus the violence, Brody's story isn't over. He'll be even more dangerous.
Eddie Butcher. Stoic. Face unreadable. Walked to the back, ignored questions. What's he thinking? Lost the shot without being pinned by King. Feel cheated. Just processing. Intriguing.
King, meanwhile, applause, congratulations backstage, returned to the top. At the press conference later, calm, focused, talked about preparing. Addressed Eddie, showed respect actually, said Eddie forced him to step up his greatness, thanked him.
But then the big statement about a future opportunity.
Yeah. King said, for that to happen, Butcher has to start at the bottom again and earn an opportunity at my world championship.
Wow. Sets a clear, difficult path back for Eddie. Despite the history, despite not being pinned tonight, King says, prove yourself all over again. Reinforces King's power, sets up a potential long journey for Butcher.
So the world title picture. King's back on the throne. Brody's an even more dangerous anarchist. Eddie's left pondering a tough road back. Ray Munoz declared his intentions. And maybe that A-lister Sparker group looming. Wrestle War capped, year 1 definitively, but violently reshaped everything for year 2.
That Champions press conference hours later really helped clarify things too, didn't it?
Absolutely. The 4 pillars, LJ, Michelle, Lily, King, with GM Max Stone. Stone hailed the successful first year, the momentum, called the champs pillars for year 2, mentioned the rosters full of talent, still looking for more.
And seeing the champs together, their attire reflecting their personas. LJ's street look, Michelle's business suit, Lily's bright dress, King's tailored suit highlighted their distinct personalities.
Then the questions. First, did they watch other matches? King, staying true, said no, focused solely on his match.
LJ said yes, watched all he could, especially concerned for Sebastian, said everyone killed it, just reinforcing that honorable fan-favorite connection.
Lily also watched all, said the fun matches made her feel more pressure to perform, shows her energy, but also the drive underneath.
And Michelle Diaz, always strategic, watched all the women's matches, but the key line, even after her match, watched Lily's, stating, "And I have notes on what I saw for when we're finally in the ring together."
Whoa, not just watching, preparing. A direct signal, a challenge laid down. The game changer is already studying the world champion, even while holding her own title.
Which led right into the next question for her world title aspirations.
She reiterated, priority is the Heritage Championship. Her goal isn't chasing titles, it's holding the title everyone else is chasing.
Doubling down on that debut claim, positioning herself as the standard bearer, daring others to step up to her. But that comment about notes on Lily lingers, right? A future direction, maybe.
Definitely feels like it. Then the women's champs were asked who they're watching. Michelle gave the broad, confident answer, every woman on the roster.
But Lily, much more specific, linked right back to our opening discussion, said, like Michelle, I'm watching everyone, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't paying close attention to Brittany Ali. I beat her for this championship, but I know she's aiming to take this title back from me.
Confirms it. Brittany's post-match interview, Lily's comment. The most immediate, pressing challenger for the women's world title is the brutal former champ. That feud is absolutely brewing again, likely even more intense.
LJ was asked about Rey Munoz. Hope for a match soon, acknowledged the demand. But noted Munoz seems focused on the world title first.
Yeah.
LJ, ever the fighting champ, said he's always ready for all challengers.
Positions LJ perfectly. Willing champ, ready for anyone, but respects Munoz's immediate goals. Keeps that dream match on the table for later.
Finally, King, asked about Eddie Butcher, showed respect again, said Eddie forced him to reach a higher level, thanked him.
But then repeated the line about the future. Butcher has to start at the bottom again and earn an opportunity. Lays out that tough path, reinforces King's dominance.
So the press conference really clarified the immediate paths, the brewing rivalries, confirmed intentions. The pillars of year two have set their sights.
Wrestle War was absolutely a powerful culmination, delivered on major feuds, violent outcomes, Brittany, Sarah, Hudson Wolf, Warlord Hogan. But like Max Stone said, it's a pivotal new beginning.
We saw huge shifts, new paths forged. Rey Munoz targeting the world title. Marcella pivoting to the world title. Michelle conquering heritage, daring challengers. LJ surviving, but facing new dangerous threats. King reclaiming his throne, setting terms.
A real turning point. The outcomes will ripple through everything next. And now, we want to hear from you, the RCW faithful. After this breakdown, processing the wins, losses, reactions, interviews.
What are your final thoughts? Which outcome felt most impactful? Which post-match moment or interview got your mind racing the most? And what single future matchup are you most excited for now?
And building on Max Stone's comment, looking ahead, roster full of talent, more potentially coming. Let's leave you with this. Out of all the results, interviews, potential alliances, A-lister sparker. Hudson targeting LJ Marcella, eyeing the world title. Brittany gunning for Lily. Munoz aiming high. Eddie's journey back. Which single element do you think has the power to fundamentally change RCW the most in year two?
And, based only on the pieces we put together today, what completely unexpected twist feels like it's lurking just beneath the surface? Something not explicitly stated, but maybe a direct result of Wrestle War waiting to explode.
Let us know. Until the next deep dive, keep watching RCW, keep discussing. Wrestle War wasn't just the end of year one.
It was the violent, chaotic, unpredictable beginning of year two.